What's up? I didn't think I'd hit the start yet. Oh well. Good morning, everybody. Give me just one moment. I didn't even have my cup of coffee yet. That's why I said, "Oh, I didn't think I pressed that yet." Whoopsie. Yeah, it's okay. Oh, I don't really do anything off camera that I wouldn't do on camera. So, well, within reason. I get a partner, I'm not going after. Not going to have fun with them on camera. Sorry, that's not footage that could be seen.
Do you need a shipment of rifle ammo? Or any ammo by chance?
Nope. Actually, I do technically need a little bit for the 9. Last I knew, we only had three mags.
Old Mage Guy is now live. Streaming politics. Morning news.
But, honestly, because of the situation at hand, it doesn't do any good to have any extra ammo. The only person who can keep firearm on them right now in the family is me. Ugh. Oh, you were meaning in-game. I'm being a dumbass. Sorry, science. Ah, fuck. No, I don't need any rifle ammo. I haven't built the rifle yet. Oh shit. You're probably sitting there going, what the fuck is he talking about? Yeah, I probably will end up building the single shot repeater. Well, it's not a repeater. It's just lever action. Single shot lever action. Which annoys the shit out of me. And something in my mind just goes when a lever action rifle is not a repeater. My brain does not like it. It's like, no, that's supposed to be a repeater. Fuck. Even if it's
Figure
not.
asks since you'll start getting into PAL defenses soon. I have infinite ammo at this point. PAL's already made me a lot of stuff for ammo lol.
Nice. Oh, Jesus Christ. I got a lot to go through today. Okay.
just getting their first phones.
Okay, this should have been off.
Well, it's unlimited talk and text.
The lights were off last night and everything. It's why. But anyway,
Anubis on a crossbow is scary, but a mounted gun and Anubis usual.
And its leader, Attorney General are already facing a huge file prosecutors from the acting United States Attorney of Southern
oh really?
New York or other assistant
So,
United States attorneys in
Lupus is crazy on the crossbow?
resignation, and
Hmm.
letters calling out the corruption, unethical behavior, and criminality. People also working for the Department. Let me just remind people: Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General. These are people who previously served as Donald Trump's personal lawyers in various ways. So let me just remind
H
you
is a
of
tier 4
Ted
handler,
Bundy,
so H is
the
good luck.
Attorney General, so we
Fair
all
point.
know who we're dealing with. Let's play this clip because she represented Trump at the impeachment hearing of Trump during the first administration. Let's play it.
She remained on the board until April of 2019.
You having
We
trouble
also
finding it?
know that
Yikes, that's the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, right there. That was back during the first impeachment hearing. Harry Littman, you were a top official at the Department of Justice. You were also a United States Attorney in the Western District of Pennsylvania. You got a lot of connections to the Department of Justice. Nay, I say that you may have the most connections of maybe any person currently living to the Department of Justice at the highest level. What's going on? What are you hearing behind the scenes? Do
Can
we
I just
expect
do it
more
in
resignations to follow? Is this a full-flown
Actually, yeah, you'd save me making one.
Yes, I don't know if there'll be more resignations, Brent, because they got their order to actually file. They put everybody
Yeah, if
from
you,
the public integrity section in a room.
You got
they
one
were
made that you getting rid of? use
teenagers.
it.
Somebody stolen a pack of lifesavers
I have
and said no one's
him
coming
with
out
that,
until somebody agrees to file this motion. It's a cataclysm. I was at the department not long before the change over in administration, and everybody in the department, very, very, very strong culture is pride in the career professionals who do their job based on facts and law. So you have not just who you mentioned at the Southern District of New York, and we're talking about a Antonin Scalia
I
clerk,
can make a bunch of
separately
them.
a John
Ill
Roberts
sense of
clerk,
handgun ammo with it.
Medal award winner, impeccable. But then Bove pulls it into Maine Justice, where he thinks that the Department of Public Integrity, the really crown jewel of the DOJ, and the head of the criminal division, even above them, all of them resign. It's the public integrity folks who are corralled into a room and made somebody to file a motion to dismiss. Otherwise, everybody was going to get fired. It's unbelievable, brutal treatment. And at the bottom, as you say, it's all this lie. You have Bondi saying, and even writing back to the people who died, well, you're being predictable, you're just weaponizing the department. It's a complete Alice in Wonderland discourse. They have the facts and the law behind the Adams prosecution, and stunningly, the Deputy Attorney General in the first letter starting this whole crisis said, well, I haven't really looked at the facts, and I know there's no problem with the legal theories, and then tried to come up with other stuff. But when you say, begin there and order everyone to file a motion to dismiss, as Sassoon said, I can't do that. It's a violation of my oath. It's a violation of my duty to the court. And within the department, I guarantee you, all 94 U.S. attorneys' offices, people are in absolute stupefaction today, seeing how the new leadership has totally insulted and brutalized the attorneys who need to file this clearly political motion. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to the career rank and file in the history of the Department of Justice, with no doubt. And the resignations would have continued, except that one person who's being played as a hero within public integrity, which again, it's like the Navy SEALs of DOJ, stepped up and said, rather than have everybody lose their job, okay, I'll file this motion. Of course, that means he has to go in front of a court and be questioned about why he did it and what was the basis for it. That is going to be a very ugly day, as one of the people who resigned said, I'm neither coward nor fool enough to do it, and I never was. I'm sure you'll find somebody, but it was never going to be me.
I got it cheaper from CD Keys.
I got it cheaper for CD Keys.
But it was never going to be me.
Harry, is the person who filed it, though I don't know the backstory here,
Yeah.
is that person the fool, a corrupt person, or someone who's taking one for the team so that other people can remain in the Department of Justice who are still competent lawyers? And so, which one is it? Do you know?
Yeah, it's the second. So he's playing as a hero, and his people came out and said, this guy's name is Ed Sullivan, by the way. And he's he really takes one for the team. Imagine this. Career professionals being stuck in a room. We'll give you an hour. If you don't come out, we're firing all of you. That's a stunning treatment of professionals in the Department of Justice. And yes, after a lot of talk about should we all resign, one stepped up and said, okay, I'll save everybody's job. And again, this most vaunted, respected, completely by the book set of prosecutors in the entire country. This is tawdry and savage in the extreme. He is playing as the guy to save everyone else's job, at least within their ranks. He's playing as a hero.
You just think about that too, Harry. So when you say the public integrity section, so everybody just knows what that means. So this case was under the jurisdiction of the Southern District of New York federal prosecutors, who have a proud tradition for those who, watch a lot of those TV shows on federal prosecutorial offices. I remember even the show like Billions and others. They're usually based around SDNY and they view themselves as the top federal prosecutors from the top law schools. And so they, the acting United States attorney, who has conservative credentials, federalist credentials through the roof, clerked for Justice Scalia, clerked for I think a Fourth Circuit Court of
Harvey Wilkinson, Mr. Conservative.
Mr. Conservative, the conservative deep. And then even then you had the Assistant United States Attorney who clerked for Justice John Roberts, who was reporting to that United States Attorney. So you had all of them, and they were like, "This, you're asking us to do something illegal. We can't do it." In the words of the Assistant U.S. Attorney, Hagen Scotton, Hagen goes, "If no lawyer within the earshot of the president is willing to give him the advice that what he's asking is illegal, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion to dismiss the case against Eric Adams when there's all this evidence of crimes." But it's never going to be. I added some things there, but that's the context of what you were saying. So then they ripped the case away from SDNY. And of all of the divisions, they then moved it to public integrity, which is supposed to protect public integrity and oversee prosecutions like those against people who are not integrity, like Eric Adams.
Integral.
So they move it over to public integrity. Then public integrity leaders go, "We're not filing this."
That's the word when you're trying to use it like that. Integral.
And then they bring all these people in D.C. in a room. Trump's personal lawyer, who's now the Deputy Attorney General, Emil Bove, says, "You're all going to lose your jobs right now unless this gets filed." And then the question was, why you're saying this person's viewed as a hero, is, well, what happens if everybody either gets fired or resigned? And now you have nobody inside who can still even resist from within. Do you even have a Department of Justice anymore? So, Harry, I'll give you the final word, but was that description and summary in layman's terms kind of a fair assessment?
Yeah, it totally was. And one other extra point is even the head assistant attorney general acting above public integrity resigned rather than do this. I just want, it's so clear the setting here. Someone's lying and someone's telling the truth. Someone's on the side of the rule of law and someone's on the side of brute politics. And you read these letters, these intemperate letters, there's just no doubt people with great credibility put it on the line and sacrifice their careers. We're talking about people who are, were going to be judges and the like with a bullet, and the real pride and joy of the DOJ. And to the extent the public doesn't understand it or does a sort of whataboutism, anybody, I mean anybody, of any political stripe who's ever been in the Department of Justice, and I'm here to tell you what they would all say. These guys are absolutely honorable, hardworking, the heart and soul of the Department of Justice. And not only were they being fired, but Pam Bondi, after basically insulted them in savage terms, saying, you're lying, and this is all pretextual. This is as taught.
We have one gentleman in Congress that kind of looks like Gunny from Full Metal Jacket.
It's not over, Ben, because it's still got to go in
I
front
was wondering if that was who was hearing it, but it's not. It kind of explains why the voice isn't quite right. From what I was expecting to hear it. Person does not have Gunny's voice, but some of the same speech patterns.
This is so clearly good versus evil.
But this gentleman has the same patterns, speech patterns. I think it comes down to original place, the dialect of English that's being used is from.
Sober, nasty, savage day in the Department of Justice's hands.
You know what? You said I'll give you the final word, but I'll take it. I'll say this one. I'll say this one other thing. If there's a glimmer of hope here, one, that there is this resistance within taking place, even amongst conservative lawyers. But even if you view their behavior as selfish, right, just looking after their own self-interest, that means these younger lawyers envision the world in a post-Trump era where doing illegal conduct for Trump will destroy their careers in the future.
Good.
They, even right-wing lawyers,
Good. They're being
still
smart.
think that if I'm associated with this error, I'm going to be viewed with that scarlet letter forever. So even if you take the selfish, self-interested perspective of these people with high career arcs, it gives you hope even viewing it through that lens. So we can do a whole other take on that, but not now. Harry Litman, make sure you subscribe. I was like, let's do it. Subscribe to Harry Litman's YouTube channel, Talking Feds, because we're dorks and we like to talk about stuff. And Harry on Talking Feds YouTube channel does an incredible job. There's the Talking Feds Substack, which
does a whole entry about just this today.
It's great.
China is not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within. The retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values shared with the United States of America. Now, I was struck that a former European commissioner went on television recently and sounded delighted that the Romanian government had just annulled an entire election. He warned that if things don't go to plan, the very same thing could happen in Germany, too. Now, these cavalier statements are shocking to American ears. For years, we've been told that everything we fund and support is in the name of our shared democratic values. Everything from our Ukraine policy to digital censorship is billed as a defense of democracy. But when we see European courts canceling elections, and senior officials threatening to cancel others, we ought to ask whether we're holding ourselves to an appropriately high standard. And I say ourselves because I fundamentally believe that we are on the same team. We must do more than talk about democratic.
You, dude, are not on the same team as the rest of the world. Sorry. Just to be clear. You're getting pissy about other countries canceling or postponing their elections or doing... That's not necessarily what's even actually going on. That's something we're going to have to find out. But you ain't got no business getting pissy about other countries running their shit. That's not our country. It's not our place.
Values, we must live them. Now, within living memory of many of you in this room, the Cold War positioned defenders of democracy against much more tyrannical forces on this continent. And consider the side in that fight that censored dissidents, that closed churches, that canceled elections. Were they the good guys? Certainly not. And thank God they lost the Cold War. They lost because they neither valued nor respected all of the extraordinary blessings of liberty. The freedom to surprise, to make mistakes, to invent, to build. As it turns out, you can't mandate innovation or creativity, just as you can't force people what to think, what to feel, or what to believe. And we believe those things are certainly connected. And unfortunately, when I look at Europe today, it's sometimes not so clear what happened to some of the Cold War's winners. I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating...
No. They were comments that threatened the lives of other people. You're whitewashing shit. Again, Vance.
Misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. As the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect freedom of expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own.
Hey, buddy. In some places, that's you pushing your religion. Yeah. You see, unlike you dumb fucks, we realize that kind of shit can hurt people's feelings. So if we've got shit like that we want to do, we keep it to ourselves until we're in private so we don't fucking hurt people. You ignorant, arrogant. I don't know what you are. You're not trans, but you're sure as hell not a man.
After British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly...
I don't. I sure as fuck don't. That's a rule we should have fucking here. But no, you fucks don't want abortion to be a thing, so that's not a rule that's going to be a thing. And you would get so butthurt if you couldn't use your religion to try to fucking look down on other people. Grow the fuck up.
Written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizens suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain,
Oh, stop it.
across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat. And in the interest of comedy, my friends,
I'm sorry. Thought crime is not a thing. Stop it. If you're gonna go to another country, follow their fucking rules. If their rules change while you're there, you might have to deal with a changing rule. Guess what? That's life outside of the U.S. That's life inside the U.S. as well. You know, getting pissy because of something that happens everywhere? Yeah. It should be illegal for you fucks to be within 300 fucking yards of an abortion clinic and doing that shit. Because it stops people from seeking medical help that they need. Yeah, y'all should be held responsible for it. Y'all should be spending time in jail for it. Not saying a whole lot, but the more it kept going, the longer it would be, that's for fucking sure. If you can't get it through your head that your religion is your own business and doesn't belong out in the public, then maybe you need to spend a night or two in the lockup so that way you get it through your fucking head. Your religion is for you, not the people around you. You. Keep it that way.
but also in the interest of truth, I will admit that sometimes the loudest voices for censorship have come not from within Europe, but from within my own country, where the prior administration threatened and bullied social media companies to censor so-called misinformation. Misinformation like, for example, the idea that coronavirus had likely leaked from a laboratory in China. Our own government encouraged private companies to silence people who dared to utter what turned out to be an obvious truth.
No, it wasn't an obvious truth.
Today, not just with an observation, but with
That was a blatant fucking lie. And that's part of the reason why we lost so many during COVID. You fucking cockwhite. Tell me again how you don't have a clue what you're talking about, JD Vance.
offer. Just as the Biden administration seemed desperate to silence people for speaking their minds, so the Trump administration will do precisely the opposite. And I hope that we can work together on that. And
Bullshit.
there is a new sheriff in town. And under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Now, we're at the point, of course, that the situation has gotten so bad that this December, Romania straight up canceled the results of a presidential election based on the flimsy suspicions of an intelligence agency and enormous pressure from its continental neighbors. Now, as I understand it, the argument
Excuse me? You're calling documents and whatnot from an intelligence agency flimsy? Just because it's an intelligence agency? Hey Vance, let me tell you something. Not every intelligence agency is like America's. A lot of other intelligence agencies actually have a decent fucking set. And even though America's was a little small, a little off-kilter, it was still pretty decent. Until you two fuckheads came in and started fucking shit up. I've seen a lot of chuckleheads in my day, but you guys are a fucking bobblehead and Pez dispenser. By the way, Vance,
was that
give me that Pez.
Russian disinformation had infected the Romanian elections. But I'd ask my European friends to have some perspective. You can believe it's wrong for Russia to buy social media advertisements to influence your elections. We certainly do. You can condemn it on the world stage, even.
We certainly do. The level of hypocrisy in that statement is so fucking stupid. That was a blatant and bold lie. Actually, it was only bold because it was so blatant.
But if your democracy could be destroyed with a few $100,000 of digital advertising from a foreign country, then it wasn't very strong to begin with.
Want to earn cryptocurrency? Try Coinbase. Coinbase simplifies buying, selling, earning, and learning about crypto with a user-friendly design that encourages you to learn about crypto by offering rewards.
And it wasn't very strong to begin with. No. Don't try for that, you dumb fuck.
Now, the good news is that I happen to think your democracies are substantially less brittle than many people apparently fear. And I really do believe that allowing our citizens to speak their mind will make them stronger still. Which, of course, brings us back to Munich, where the organizers of this very conference have banned lawmakers representing populist parties on both the left and the right from participating in these conversations. Now, again, we don't have to agree with everything or anything that people say. But when people represent, when political leaders represent an important constituency, it is incumbent upon us to at least participate in dialogue with them. Now, to many of us on the other side of the Atlantic, it looks more and more like old entrenched interests hiding behind ugly Soviet-era words like misinformation and disinformation, who simply don't like the idea that somebody with an alternative viewpoint might express a different opinion, or, God forbid, vote a different way, or, even worse, win.
You mean manipulate, brainwash, steal, blackmail? Yeah. Dude, no. Vance, you got no room to be saying shit.
And Now, this is a security conference, and I'm sure you all came here prepared to talk about how exactly you intend to increase defense spending over the next few years in line with some new target. And that's great, because as President Trump has made abundantly clear, he believes that our European friends must play a bigger role in the future of this continent. We don't think you hear this term, burden sharing, but we think it's an important part of being in a shared alliance together that the Europeans step up while America focuses on areas of the world that are in great danger. But let me also ask you, how will you even begin to think through the kinds of budgeting questions if we don't know what it is that we're doing in the first place? I've heard a lot already in my conversations, and I've had many, many great conversations with many people gathered here in this room. I've heard a lot about what you need to defend yourselves from, and of course that's important. But what has seemed a little bit less clear to me, and certainly I think to many of the citizens of Europe, is what exactly it is that you're defending yourselves for. What is the positive vision that animates this shared security compact that we all believe is so important? And I believe deeply that there is no security if you are afraid of the voices, the opinions, and the conscience that guide your very own people. Europe faces many challenges, but the crisis this continent faces right now, the crisis I believe we all face together, is one of our own making. If you're running in fear of your own voters, there is nothing America can do for you, nor for that matter, anything that you can do for the American people who elected me and elected President Trump. You need democratic mandates to accomplish anything of value in the coming years, and we learn nothing that then mandates produce unstable results, but there is so much of value that can be accomplished with the kind of democratic...
Dude, you have no room to be talking about how any country is ran. Period. You don't know how to do it. You've not done it. And honestly, you still fucking don't. You are out there talking out your ass because you think you know something when you're stuck on stupid. And you're making a fool of all of us. Nice job going out and making our country look like a laughingstock, J.D. Vance. Because you've done exactly that. Woohoo! You fucking moron. Jesus.
Mandate that I think will come from being more responsive to the voices of your citizens. If you're going to enjoy competitive economies, if you're going to enjoy affordable energy and secure supply chains, then you need mandates to govern, because you have to make difficult choices to enjoy all of these things. And of course, we know that very well in America.
So, what? Do these dumb fucks think that the rest of the world is a fucking third world country or something? Because that's the way he's fucking talking. Fucking talking to the UK like they don't know their shit. Talking to the UK like they weren't here before us. They weren't doing shit before us. If you support this kind of, quite literally, stupid horse shit, I got some major fucking questions for you. For real. How the fuck do you listen to a piece of shit like this named J.D. Vance and not realize he doesn't have a fucking clue? Trying to tell the European Union, what they're missing. Dude, you're missing intelligence on a basic level. You're not going to tell the European nation shit. Because in comparison, you don't know shit. Fuck, I've got a better understanding of that shit than you do, and even I wouldn't know I wouldn't be able to do anything about that kind of shit. I don't know what made you two think that you get all this power just because you're head of the United States. Doesn't mean you got power. Not outside of the States. As a matter of fact, outside of the United States, you wanna know what it means? Not goddamn thing. I'm an American citizen. Okay. We're going to take you to the Gulag. But I'm an American citizen. Okay, you're still going to the Gulag. You still broke a law. That's the thing that a lot of Americans don't seem to get. We leave America and don't realize, hey, I'm not an American in other places like that. I can't say whatever the fuck I want, do whatever the fuck I want. Personally, those Americans are rather ignorant, arrogant, and that's the reason why most countries view Americans like that. It's because our morons go on vacation and forget that they have to be decent human beings. Or never were to begin with, one of the two. So, no. No.
You cannot win a democratic mandate by censoring your opponents or putting them in jail. Whether that's the leader of the opposition, a humble Christian praying in her own home, or a journalist trying to report the news. Nor can you win one by disregarding your basic electorate.
You can't? Then how come that's exactly what you fuckheads have been doing? Huh? Huh? How come that's exactly what you fuckheads have been doing?
On questions like who gets to be a part of our shared society. And of all the pressing challenges that the nations represented here face, I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration. Today, almost 1 in 5 people living in this country moved here from abroad. That is, of course, an all-time high. It's a similar number, by the way, in the United States, also an all-time high. The number of immigrants who entered the EU from non-EU countries doubled between 2021 and 2022 alone, and of course it's gotten much higher since. And we know the situation, it didn't materialize in a vacuum. It's the result of a series of...
Is there anyone over UK way that can actually provide some reference for that? Because I've got a really hard time believing that that's accurate. Very, very hard time.
Conscious decisions made by politicians all over the continent and others across the world over the span of a decade. We saw the horrors wrought by these decisions yesterday in this very city. And of course, I can't bring it up again without thinking about the terrible victims who had a beautiful winter day in Munich ruined. Our thoughts and prayers are with them and will remain with them. But why did this happen in the first place? It's a terrible story, but it's one we've heard way too many times in Europe and unfortunately too many times in the United States as well. An asylum seeker, often a young man in his mid-20s, already known to police, rams a car into a crowd and shatters a community. How many times must we suffer these appalling setbacks before we change course and take our...
I'm going to stop him right the fuck there. That's not immigrants doing that here. That's white fucking Americans. That's our own citizens doing it to each other. Stop lying, Vance. Especially on something as fucking devastating and horrific as that. I would love to have been face to face when he said that shit. Because if he had said that to my face, I would have fucking cold cocked him. I know what the weight of a vehicle can do to the human body. Somebody who uses a vehicle to try to kill innocent people should not see the light of day ever again. You see, a vehicle can be just as, if not more, dangerous than a fucking gun. The only difference is we're not taught to use vehicles as weapons. As a matter of fact, it didn't start happening en masse until a certain coppertone cobblehead went to start suggesting it. Then and only then did that shit start happening. In regular fucking portions. So no. Don't sit there and try to blame that shit on the immigrants.
Shared civilization in a new direction. No voter on this continent went to the ballot box to open the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants. But you know what they did vote for? In England, they voted for Brexit, and agree or disagree, they voted for it. And more all over Europe, they're voting for political leaders who promise to put an end to out-of-control migration. Now, I happen to agree with a lot of these concerns, but you don't have to agree with me. I just think that people care about their homes.
I think, once again, Vance, you don't know what you're talking about and are trying to talk to people that you have no business talking to. Pretty straight. And each one of them is probably staring at you like a fucking idiot. As in, you being the fucking idiot.
They care about their dreams, they care about their safety, and their capacity to provide for themselves and their children. And there's so much. I think this is one of the most important things I've learned in my brief time in politics. Contrary to what you might hear a couple mountains over in Davos, the citizens of all of our nations don't generally think of themselves as educated animals or as interchangeable cogs of a global economy. And it's hardly surprising that they don't want to be shuffled about.
Bro, what fucking point or place do you have to say that? Because that's the way you fucking treat us, dude. For real. You are sitting there trying to blame the EU and the UK for shit you're doing. The hypocrisy is fucking stupid.
Relentlessly ignored by their leaders. It is the business of democracy to adjudicate these big questions at the ballot box. I believe that dismissing people, dismissing their concerns, or worse yet, shutting down media, shutting down elections, or shutting people out of the political process protects nothing. In fact,
So, yeah, it's a world movement. We are heading to World War III. And I just got my fucking confirmation. Buckle up, everybody. It's gonna get fucked. Not on the stream, but it's gonna get fucked.
it's the most surefire way to destroy democracy. And speaking up,
Don't drink her blood. It is riddled with STDs.
Quinn froze, shocked by what the voice in his head told him.
God, this guy is brain dead. This speech of his has to have been scripted. There is no fucking way. Oh. That's not true. There is a way. There's definitely enough malice there. Enough malice and greed. Fucking pathetic. Make America a bunch of fucking stupid greedy fucks again. Where everybody's at each other's throats so that way they're not able to see what's actually going on and how they're getting fucked by the rich. Ugh.
Excuse me? The voice explained.
I'm detecting.
to destroy democracy. And speaking up and expressing opinions isn't election interference. Even when people express views outside your own country, and even when those people are very influential. And trust me, I say this with all humor, if American democracy can survive 10 years of Greta Thunberg scolding, you guys can survive a few months of Elon Musk.
Oh, hell no! Oh, hell fucking no! He did not just compare Elon to Greta. Wow! You did not just compare somebody who is a human rights activist to a greedy, self-centered, selfish tech billionaire who has sway in government. JD Vance, you're fucking dumb. You're not just a little fucking dumb, you're really fucking dumb. There are 5th graders all over the country smarter than you. Everywhere in this country. The fact that there are kids in this country smarter than you everywhere, JD Vance, is fucking pathetic.
YouTube, Mr. X, yo.
Hey, Mr. X. Sorry, I just got a little, had to pause the video because, Mr. JD Vance wanted to compare Elon Musk to Greta Thunberg. You might as well be comparing a grape to a fucking boulder.
YouTube, Mr. X, Vance will be president in 2028.
Nah. Sorry to tell you, Vance will more than likely be in jail. There's only so long these motherfuckers are going to be able to keep committing crimes and get away with it. There's only so long you're going to keep fucking with other countries and get away with it. And they keep pushing Canada. Canada's not the one to push.
YouTube, Mr. X, did you vote Trump?
No, I did not. And not that it matters, because Trump didn't even get the most votes.
YouTube, Mr. X, I voted for him because I support Israel.
So you voted for him because you don't oppose the people that the left people support? The left side doesn't support Hamas, but they support Israel. The left doesn't support Putin, they support Ukraine. Just in case you've been lied to about that. We don't like Hamas. Fuck no. Dude, they're civil rights violators. Our biggest thing is civil rights. And human rights. You think we're gonna be okay with Hamas? Come on. For real, come on.
YouTube, Mr. X, I voted because I'm Jewish. The left hates us.
No, we don't. The right hates you. For real. What makes you think the left hates you?
YouTube, Mr. X, why do they wave Palestinian flags?
Why do they wave Palestinian flags? Are you sure they're waving Palestinian flags? Did you see this in person? Not on TV, not in a video. Because every group I've been around for the left protests has been the blue and white Star of David, bud.
YouTube, Mr. X, yes, I've seen them. They even did it at the Super Bowl.
I'm beginning to wonder if you guys aren't getting too old. After how much y'all have done it to us. Well, there's also the small possibility offset of people pretending to be lefties and doing so. That goes either way. It's kind of why I don't sit here and say that y'all are for Hamas. Or Palestine. That's why I don't say that shit. It's because, guess what? The news is pretty fucking stupid about that shit. They don't actually ask these people who they are, what they're supporting, or why they have that flag. And sadly, people have gotten so fucking petty and pathetic nowadays that you will have somebody who is a Palestine supporter go into a group of people that support Israel with that fucking flag just to fuck with them. Just to try to piss them off and start shit. So what I'm going to say is I can't guarantee what you saw was legit. I can't say it's not. But no. That was a big set of Trump's lies. Was saying that the left didn't support Israel. Didn't support Jews. I'm sorry. Do you know how many of you guys are over here with us? As in Jewish community, not otherwise. We don't hate you guys. We don't even dislike you guys. We don't have an indifference to you. Though, over here on the political right that I have to deal with all the time because my family's all Trump supporters. On the other hand, I have to hear it all the goddamn time. The amount of racial hate against Jews I constantly hear from the Conservative Party is fucking stupid and pisses me off every time. Because I have several very good Jewish friends that you threaten those people, I'm gonna fuck your shit up. I don't play nice. Especially if somebody's doing what they're supposed to, behaving, following rules and shit. You don't fuck with those people. You leave them the fuck alone. You know, I hate to tell you, but you're not being left alone. You're still being fucked with. If that isn't obvious. It's just another spot that Trump wants to fucking level and turn into a either housing renovation or fucking mall. How much time do you actually take and listen to him? As in Trump. I'm sorry, I forgot Hamas is the freaking Jordan and it's the other conflict going on over there in fairly close proximity. Of course, I'm saying close proximity not being multiple countries apart. Or continents.
But what German democracy, what no democracy, American, German, or European, will survive? It's telling millions of voters that their thoughts and concerns, their aspirations, their pleas for relief are invalid or unworthy of even being considered.
Then why are you doing exactly that, J.D. Vance? You're doing that to every single one of us here in America who have an opinion and voice against you right fucking now.
Democracy rests on the sacred principle that the voice of the people matters. There's no room for firewalls. You either uphold the principle or you don't. Europeans, the people, have a voice. European leaders have a choice. And my strong belief is that we do not need to be afraid of the future. You can embrace what your people tell you, even when it's surprising, even when you don't agree. And if you do so, you can face the future with certainty and with confidence, knowing that the nation stands behind each of you. And that, to me, is the great magic of democracy. It's not in these stone buildings or beautiful hotels. It's not even in the great institutions that we have built together as a shared society. To believe in democracy is to understand that each of our citizens has wisdom and has a voice. And if we refuse to listen to that voice, even our most successful fights will secure very little. As Pope John Paul II, in my view, one of the most extraordinary champions of democracy on
Breaking. Trump and Musk tried to fire 300 nuclear officials. Fucking idiots. Then realized they were the ones overseeing the U.S. nuclear arsenal and scrambled to rehire them. That shouldn't even be a surprise. That is quite literally how little these people know about government. This is quite literally how little these people know or care to understand about making things work properly. These people are not fit to run the country. That's not an understatement. I mean, that's not an overstatement. That's not hyperbole. That's not just an opinion. That is cold, hard fucking fact. That can be backed up and proven in multiple fucking ways.
This continent or any other once said, do not be afraid. We shouldn't be afraid of our people even when they express views that disagree with their leadership. Thank you all.
That's foolish. That is extremely fucking foolish. Not only that, but thank you, Vance, for telling us what it is we need to shape you fuckers up. So they think that they don't have a reason to fear us. We the people need to have that sink in. Our politicians don't fear us. That's the only way they have respect for us now. So, looks like we need to put, as the old saying goes, the fear of God back into some of these politicians.
You cut it the hell out. It is not hot back here. You're being ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. Stop it. You're not hot. You got water right here. Come get some fucking water. Use the potty pad. Stop being a punk.
It's not hot. I even turned one of the heaters off for you already. Rat dog.
Well, good luck to all of you. God bless you.
One second, Mike.
I'm very happy to hear the end of that bullshit.
Frank, who did you vote for president? Trump. Right? Trump. If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump? No way. Couldn't happen. No. Frank, who did you vote for president? Trump. Right? Trump. Trump.
Oops. I had that right.
Frank, who did you vote for president? Mr. Trump. Right? Trump. Mr. Trump. If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump? No way. Couldn't happen. No. Frank, who did you vote for president? Mr. Trump. Right?
Yeah, that's your Farmers of America.
There seems to be some confusion as to how US governance is supposed to function and how the chart of hierarchy is laid out. Just last week, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, posted, "If a judge tried to tell a general how to conduct a military operation, that would be illegal. if a judge tried to command the Attorney General in how to use her discretion as a prosecutor. That is also illegal.
No, it's not.
Judges aren't allowed to control the executive's legitimate power. And a few days later, Trump's lawyer, Alina Harper, said there's a separation of powers for a reason. The executive branch is the ultimate authority on federal issues.
The separation of powers, it's a really novel idea, but our founding fathers created a document, the Constitution.
No. I'm going to interrupt this bitch right there. Separation of powers? You mean what you guys have been dismantling since you got in office last month? Please, stuff it.
There's a separation of powers for a reason. The executive branch is the ultimate authority on federal issues, and we have rogue judges who are trying to stop members like Doge Team, Besant, from doing their job.
Except, since 1803, the courts have oversight over the executive branch through judicial review, which allows them to determine whether executive actions comply with the Constitution and the federal law.
Pure helped me quit vaping in just 10 days. There's no nic or harmful chemicals, each puff,
and the federal law. However, if the president resists those rulings, that could create the potential for a constitutional crisis. If a president ignores court orders, the judiciary has no direct means to enforce its rulings, relying instead on institutional norms and public pressure. But what if ignoring the courts is Trump's plan? And what if Trump is himself just following orders? In an era of unprecedented wealth concentration and political influence, the American political system is facing a challenge unlike any before. The 2024 election not only underscored the growing power of billionaires in shaping electoral outcomes, but also signaled a deeper shift, the erosion of democratic safeguards in favor of a new ruling elite, the tech industrial complex. Elon Musk, now both the world's richest person and Donald Trump's live-in boyfriend, has taken an active role in the federal government. Aside from being a top campaign donor to the Donald Trump for President campaign, he now come in and shuttered officials with little regard for conflicts of interest. His influence extends far beyond the typical sway of wealthy donors. Musk has reportedly gained access to sensitive government systems, including the Treasury Department's payment processing infrastructure, raising grave concerns about the entanglement of private power and public governance. Yet, Musk is not alone. Other tech titans, including Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, have been seated at the helm of power both financially and operationally as their companies tighten their grip on the American economy and information landscape. This consolidation of wealth and political influence has led many to dub the current era an oligarchy, or a broligarchy, system where a small group of ultra-wealthy hipsters and individuals, primarily from the tech sector, wield unchecked power.
Hey, guess what? Exactly what Trump told you was happening and wasn't. Is exactly what's happening under Trump. By Trump's hand. How fucking selfish, self-centered, blind, ignorant, or stupid do you have to be to not see that exactly what's going on here, right fucking now, is the exact same thing y'all fucking voted for him so it didn't happen, or would stop?
political and economic structures of the country. Now, three major shifts have brought the United States to this precarious moment. Firstly, the collapse of campaign finance safeguards. The Supreme Court Citizens United decision over a decade ago unleashed a flood of unregulated money into politics. The 2024 election saw an insane influx of billionaire funding, with just 10 individuals supplying nearly half of the money supporting Trump's candidacy. Musk alone poured at least $288 million into Trump's campaign, running a super PAC that operated as an unofficial arm of the campaign itself. The line between private donors and political operatives has effectively vanished. And then the expansion of presidential power. Over the past several decades, the executive branch has steadily accumulated power with fewer checks from Congress and the judiciary. Trump has accelerated this trend, issuing executive orders that defy constitutional norms, bypassing congressional authority and removing oversight mechanisms. His dismissal of at least 17 agency inspectors general without congressional notice exemplifies the unchecked authority he now wields. Courts have blocked some of these overreaches, but with the Supreme Court increasingly sympathetic to executive power, the ability to rein in presidential excesses is diminishing. And finally, the dominance of the tech-industrial complex. Beyond wealth, today's billionaire class wields another powerful tool: control over the flow of information. Traditional media no longer dictates political narratives. Instead, platforms owned by Zuckerberg and others shape discourse through opaque algorithms, data-driven content curation. The lack of transparency in these systems, coupled with legal protections like Section 30 of the Communications Act, allow tech platforms to manipulate political engagement with little accountability. The result is a media landscape where political messaging is tailored, amplified, and censored based on interest of those who own the platforms, further entrenching influence over elections and governance. Despite the grim outlook, suggests that concentrated power often sow the seeds of their own undoing. From the progressive era's pushback against the Gilded Age to the post-Watergate campaign finance reforms, American democracy has faced and overcome existential threats before. But meaningful reform will require a bold opposition.
CDKeys.com. Shop the latest games and upcoming releases at the best price.
We have faced it before, but not like this. It's not to say I don't think we can overcome it. I know we can. If we can get our people to get their heads out of their asses. And that's quite literally what it is head up the ass. I literally think Mr. Trump and Mr. Musk can do nothing wrong. They're saints. Trump was God sent. Fuck, he was. And if anything, he was sent by the goddamn devil. Problem is the devil's a better guy than God is.
Meaningful reform will require a bold opposition. Elevating my style used to mean breaking the bank, but with Quince, I get high-end, versatile pieces at prices I can actually afford. Now I can upgrade my style by snacking killer luxury essentials that sync with my vibe and wallet. Quince has all the must-haves like Mongolian cashmere crewneck sweaters, iconic 100% leather jackets, and versatile flow-knit activewear. The best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. I love that. And these t-shirts that I wear feel great and fit me like a glove. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/FNN for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/FNN to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/FNN. First and foremost, campaign finance laws must be overhauled to reverse the damage done by Citizens United. Without strict limits on the role of big money in elections, billionaires will continue to function as kingmakers, further eroding public trust in democracy. Second, presidential authority must be reined in. Congress must reassert its role as the first branch of government, restoring oversight mechanisms and ensuring that no president, regardless of party, can operate beyond the law. Finally, the unchecked power of tech billionaires must be addressed. Stronger antitrust laws, algorithmic transparency mandates, and revisions to Section 230 could serve as the foundation for a new era of accountability in the digital space. The dominance of a few corporations over political discourse is an existential threat to democracy, and failing to act could cement their control indefinitely. But who gets to act with Republicans taking full control of the House, the Senate, the Executive, and of course the Supreme Court? Stakes have never been higher. And while public outrage over money in politics and billionaire influence is widespread, solutions remain elusive. The challenge is not just identifying the problem, but building the political will to enact structural reform. The coming years will test whether American democracy can withstand the pressures of the oligarchy, or whether it will succumb to an era where private wealth dictates public policy. One thing is certain: if reform does not present itself, the consequences could be irreversible. As I've said before, with voter suppression and disinformation, the odds of Democrats winning another election ever again are diminished. That is all part of the plan. Trump wasted no time asserting his authority in the early weeks of his second term, swiftly enacting a series of sweeping executive actions that have sparked fierce opposition. Since returning to the White House, he's halted new asylum requests, dismantled refugee resettlement programs, frozen federal hiring and budgets, weakened key government agencies, restricted gender transition care, and introduced a mass federal worker buyout initiative that looks more like a scam. These aggressive moves have tested the boundaries of presidential authority, igniting legal battles with Democratic leaders, labor unions, and advocacy groups. So far, the federal courts have emerged as the primary check on Trump's agenda, blocking some of his more controversial orders, such as his attempt to revoke birthright citizenship, a right enshrined in the 14th Amendment. Yet Trump remains undeterred, if a little confused. His latest confrontation involves a Rhode Island judge who accused the administration of openly ignoring a court ruling to release billions in frozen federal funds. The White House pushed back, insisting the president's actions are entirely within the law because they say so. Legal challenges mounting a controversy over executive power is inevitable, setting the stage for a possible Supreme Court showdown. With the Supreme Court tank for Trump, it appears that for now he has supreme jurisdiction. This is the constitutional crisis we have feared. This is the checkmate that the oligarchs have been looking forward to. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.
Business taxes is always so all-consuming. Now Business Taxes is having a TurboTax small business expert who handles your taxes for you. With year-round advice, the answers at no extra cost. So you have more time and money.
Donald Trump continues to try to scam the American people as he's running our country into the ground, running our economy into the ground, running our foreign policy into the ground, turning the United States of America into an isolated pariah state. The scam continues with Donald Trump reposting state regime media known as Fox that says, quote, the U.S. will be flooded with jobs as foreign nations avoid tariffs. Trump says they're going to be so scared by the threats.
No. Anyways, Ben. Ben. He's turning it into a black hole. That's Trump's business gift. He's a black hole. That's his personality. I've been wondering when I would finally fucking find it. I don't think that saying for someone's personality has been used in a while, but he's the black hole personality. You can give, and all it's going to do is take. There's no bottom to a black hole. Why did it take me so long to fucking remember that? Especially considering I sit here and listen to astrophysics all fucking day.
Going to back down. Actually, quite the opposite is happening. They are imposing retaliatory tariffs. Also, like in Canada, they are boycotting all things American. A massive boycott of the American tourism industry and a massive boycott of American goods, services, and products. Well, when you behave like Donald Trump, what other choice do you leave nations when you try to mock and humiliate them? Even when Donald Trump brought over Prime Minister Modi of India, he posts his interview with them on his social media platform, and then he posts a photo of himself mocking Prime Minister Modi after Prime Minister Modi left, because this is the kind of petulant cowardice of Donald Trump. Look at this photo he posted. Trump orders reciprocal tariffs on countries.
Yeah, hate to tell you, Trump supporters, that is cowardice. And it's not just that guy. No, Trump's done that with almost every one he's had come visit from other countries. You want to know what wouldn't be cowardice? If Trump looked those people in the eye and said, this is what I don't like about you. This is what I don't like about your country. Respectfully.
YouTube. Howard, good morning, my beautiful
Hi,
dear
Howard.
friend. Hope you're doing well. Missed you, my friend. I love you. Justin People, hugging red heart.
Good morning, Howard. And doing the morning news segment, so fair warned. Yeah, I can't believe it took me so long to remember. Personality type. Trump's personality type. The black hole personality. It's been 8 years that I've been trying to remember that. And that was via Carl Sagan. Which is a well-known psychologist. Oh. Probably because I've been stepping away from a lot of Carl's work and focusing more on that of the modern day studies. That would make more sense, actually. That would make sense as to why I was having trouble remembering it. Hey, at least I figured that out.
Trading U.S. imports unfairly with EU, India, and Japan in crosshairs. It's kind of interesting lumping those nations together. And then he posts a photo of himself next to Prime Minister Modi trying to act like he's so tough, sending the most unhinged and bizarre emails as well. If you subscribe, don't subscribe to his email list. I do, so you don't have to. You get messages like this. Ben, don't think, just answer. By the way, isn't that kind of Donald Trump's entire MO? Don't think. Just do what I'm saying. Don't even think about it. Will you stand with Trump if I'm impeached in another Democrat witch hunt? Yes, no. Democrats think they'll get away with impeaching me a third time. He's literally just whining and playing the victim about things that can't possibly even happen during this term because these spineless Republicans control the House and the Senate, and they want to just pretend like all of this is happening because of other...
I am sorry, but to some extent, Republicans aren't being spineless. You can't claim Republicans are being spineless. That's not accurate. Democrats, for the most part, have been being spineless. Some of the Democrats are doing better now. But Lincoln Project is Republicans. Lincoln Project has not been being spineless. There are several other groups of Republicans out there who have not been being spineless against Trump. That was not a fair shot against Republicans who are trying to do their job properly from a proper conservative standpoint. And I won't just let that pass by.
People, y'all are in control right now, and you are running the country into the ground after all of the gains we made under former President Biden. He's also selling these pink MAGA hats.
Okay, the Republicans that are going to do something that... So basically what you're saying is the Republicans that are helping Trump are being spineless. That doesn't make any sense. Because the phrase is not meant as a, blah, blah, blah. No. These people want the same thing as Trump. Therefore, they're using their spines. They're going after what they want. You can't call them spineless just because they're not following the rule of law. That's not accurate.
That are just utterly gross. Let me just show you some of the weakness of Donald Trump. Now, you've seen our past reporting from this week where Donald Trump kissed Vladimir Putin's feet, almost quite literally, saying how great his call with Putin is, how he trusts Putin in everything that Putin tells him. He trusts Putin, that Donald Trump thinks that he doesn't know who's to blame, Donald Trump says, for Russia's unlawful invasion of Ukraine. He goes, there's just so many things that are complicated about it, and it's a nasty war. Ukraine shouldn't have let it happen, he says. And he and Pete Hegseth also said Ukraine shouldn't join NATO. Ukraine should not be entitled to its own land that Russia annexed pre-2014 to the present. So Donald Trump did all of that. But let me just show you something, because there's that deadline today that Donald Trump imposed. Remember, he said noon Saturday, if Hamas doesn't release all of the hostages, Donald Trump said all hell will break loose, because he's going to unleash right after that. Asked about it yesterday. So is that deadline still on? And by the way, just think about it like this. Trump's negotiation where he said that no matter what happens, he's going to occupy Gaza and move all the Palestinians to some other unnamed countries. That kind of takes away your negotiating power to get the hostages back when you say that no matter what, you're going to engage in mass ethnic cleansing and occupation with American forces. But yesterday he's asked again, okay, what do you mean by all hell's going to break loose? I want you to watch his answer play.
What's going to happen tomorrow? It's up to me and take a very hard stance. I can't tell you what Israel's going to do.
Did you see what he did there? Obviously, he goes, it's up to Israel. I don't know what's going to happen, actually. Really? Because earlier in the week, you said, you sounded like Mr. Tough Guy. You said all hell was going to break loose. So you certainly made it sound like you were going to use United States military resources and you were going to unleash hell. That's how it would normally be interpreted. Play this clip.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With a very exciting announcement for parents everywhere.
YouTube is so good about that.
Are you saying all hell is going to break loose? Are you speaking about retaliation from?
You'll find out, and they'll find out too. Hamas will find out what I mean.
Mr. President,
they're going to find out what I mean. These are sick people, and they'll find out what I mean Saturday at 12.
But do you see how the international community, why they view Trump as weak and pathetic? Why Putin?
Yeah.
I mean, Putin knows how obsequious Donald Trump is to him, but like just our allies in general. Think about how President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico or Prime Minister Trudeau. Think about, let's use Canada for an example, right? Donald Trump threatens to annex Canada. The same type of language Putin uses when Putin then uses his troops to invade Ukraine. Trump's using the language of annexation, conquest, as it relates to our former great ally, by the way, a country I have immense respect for, and it pisses me off so much what Donald Trump's done. I wish they were still our ally, but I certainly understand why Canada wants nothing to do with the United States. But Trump goes, we're going to annex you. And then Prime Minister Trudeau acts like a wartime president, courageously stands up to Donald Trump. And then Trump's like, you know what, maybe we can do can you give us like a fentanyl czar? Even though almost no.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Canada, from those of us here in America who didn't want this shit, we're sorry, man. And we can't blame you. No hate. Not from us. Not for this. You guys gotta protect yourselves too. This shit's stupid.
Fentanyl at all crosses from Canada into the United States. They settled on a fentanyl czar, a made-up position, basically, that isn't going to do anything because there's so little fentanyl crossing. Could you imagine if Vladimir Putin threatened to invade Ukraine and Zelensky's like, here's the deal, fentanyl czar? And Putin's like, okay, I'll do a fentanyl czar. That doesn't happen because real strong men who are dictators invade, and they need to be stopped and squashed and destroyed and stopped in their path by democracies, because they will continue on their war path to conquer more. Trump uses that language and then basically does fake deals that are just the status quo or even less than the status quo. In the case of Mexico, Trump settled on less troops at the border by Mexico that was already at the border. Trump's like, they're giving me 10,000 troops. Donald, there was already 15,000 troops at the border. So you see how weak and pathetic he looks? And then unorganized and incompetent. Look at this headline from yesterday. Trump officials fire nuclear staff, not realizing they oversee the country's weapons stockpile, sources say. As Edward Isaac Dovere says, so Thursday, Trump officials fire hundreds at the National Security Administration. They oversee our nuclear weapons and our nuclear codes and our arsenal. And then Friday, the Trump administration scrambles and goes, oh crap, did we just fire all of the people who oversee our nuclear arsenal? Oh, we didn't mean you, we meant the other employees. They don't know what the heck they're doing. But what they do know what they're doing, at least, is when it comes to the propaganda to try to distract. Donald Trump and Tom Homan post this image from the official White House account on Valentine's Day. Roses are red, violets are blue. Come here illegally and we'll deport you. I think the poem that I would rather say is that egg prices are up, groceries too. You're exposed as a liar. Now what will you do? I just made it up on the spot. Look at the egg prices, up 267%. But as Elon Musk says, I'm so entertained. We're entertaining him. Yes, we the people who are suffering, we're entertaining the billionaires. I'm so entertained. Well, inflation is heating up. Prices are on an upswing. Americans are down on the economy again from all political parties. Retail sales fell more than expected in January. Households are bracing for more.
And this is the funny thing. Funny / sad. If it does come to the people taking things back, it's not going to be the White House. It's not going to be the Capitol buildings. It's not going to be government buildings. That would be pointless. See? Oligarchs are very, very, very weak individuals. And very easy to hurt. But I won't go into that anymore on stream.
Bumps in inflation, expecting 4.3% inflation. Gas prices are inching up again. Oh, and Elon Musk's Doge posts classified data on its new website. Remember the pitiful performance speech, whatever the heck you want to call it, the cosplay fascism by the weak and pathetic J.D. Vance when he spoke at the Munich conference, when he promoted Russia's interference with European elections. Here, play this clip.
We're at the point, of course, that the situation has gotten so bad that this December, Romania straight up canceled the results of a presidential election based on the flimsy suspicions of an intelligence agency and enormous pressure from its continental neighbors. Now, as I understand it, the argument was that Russian disinformation had infected the Romanian elections. But I asked my European friends to have some perspective. You can believe it's wrong for Russia to buy social media advertisements to influence your elections. We certainly do. You can condemn it on the world stage even. But if your democracy can be destroyed with a few $100,000 of digital advertising from a foreign country, then it wasn't very strong to begin with.
How to change the way you pizza. Step 1, grab a delicious Papa Murphy's pizza. Step 2, bake. Step 3, chow down on the deliciousness. Order the fan favorite cowboy pizza right now at papamurphys.com.
Foreign country, then it wasn't very strong to begin with.
Or Donald Trump not knowing that China is a member of the BRICS bloc? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the BRICS bloc. And no, Donald, your social media posts did not destroy the BRICS bloc. If anything, you're now making the BRICS bloc more powerful as America has isolated itself, and now apparently the BRICS bloc is one of the alliances that people are flocking to. Here, play this clip.
The BRICS nations, I think that's breaking up very rapidly. We said that if they're going to go in and do anything to undermine the dollar, that includes China. I don't even know that they're a member of BRICS, but they had a few nations get together to try and play cute. And I said, we're going to put 100% tariff on every one of those nations. And the mere thought of saying that, I think that's all broken up. That idea is no longer sailed. Now, that would be a terrible thing for our country. It would be bad for the world. They wanted to undermine the dollar.
But folks, while all of this is going on, Elon Musk is posting memes, says they get access to your medical records, your social security records, access to your tax information, and the MAGAs and Fox and state regime media says, you don't trust billionaires with your private data? Why don't you trust them? Just give them everything. You're the billionaires. They're trustworthy. Are you kidding me? That's what you think? Elon Musk is posting this. Gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to inform you that we are so back. At a certain point, we the people aren't going to take it anymore. At a certain point, we the people aren't going to take it. And at a certain point, we're going to peacefully protest.
Oh no. Peaceful protesting is probably not too far from over. People are getting pissed. I'm not saying me, people. I was pissed last election. The last time he was president. Now I share information and wait to be useful. Indeed, girl. Meow. What? You want to play? Jesus, yes. Meow. What? I technically has one more, but it's from today. I typically don't do the ones from the day. This is usually about the time I end the new stream. No, it's not a toy young lady. I don't want to get up and do shit, but I need to get up and do shit. You just did a snow fox, a little snow fox pounce, Arctic fox. Chasing the blankets and whatnot, her butt sticking up above it all. It's like, I need to do some laundry so I can shower. To do so, I gotta get some quarters. Man, what? I better get working on my day. I'll be back after a bit.